Hello, everybody. Mr. Puga here to share a little bit about the session I attended in Region 4's bilingual ESL conference. So, hope all the information here is useful for you, and let's get started. So, first of all, I want to start off with a quote that I enjoyed a lot. I didn't see it in this session, but I think it really tackles the feeling that we sometimes have. It says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair by Sheila Grisholm. And sometimes we feel like that, and we have to do what it takes to get our instruction the way we should to our bilingual kids. So, with that being said, let's get started. So let me talk a little bit about the decision I made. I chose the conference called Reading Comprehension Strategies for All Students, and I got in there waiting for a lot of strategies to share with you. And it said Bender on the side, and kind of made me doubtful. And then I realized in the long run that sometimes it's just a suggestion from me to you. Vendors have not been quite in the classroom as much as we are, so just a heads up, because sometimes they'll say things that it make you say, we've been there. But something that is very important that I talked with Miss Combi is that hearing things in a conference like this that the district has been drilling on, and you practice it and you already know it from memory, validates everything we do, because you say, okay, we've been doing that, so we're on the right track. Because for a vendor to present this in a Region 4 conference, and they're getting paid for that, and we're doing it every day, so that speaks good of what we're doing. So for example, there was this quote that said, researchers agree that striving adolescent traders can improve their reading comprehension by receiving instruction in comprehension strategies. Right. I mean, that's almost a given for us because we've been seeing it every day. So the presenter started off with a little riddle warm-up, which was pretty cute. I liked it until she said that it was, until I realized afterwards that you have to pay for it. So it's basically just a riddle that you use as a warm-up, and you see an example here. You just present this on the board, and it takes some time. You can tweak this however you want to address the topics that you're talking about. So I came up with an alternative. That's a webpage called riddles.com that also has a lot of riddles in it, and they're free. So by all means, you can use that page, and that's how the presenter started. Then she moved on to talk a little bit about theory, and she started talking about why do we read, and she gave some of the, asked the participants, why do you read, and we had a back and forth about it. And then she showed some data on reading levels. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because we've seen our own data for our own district, and we know where we are at and what we need. So she moved on to talk about how oral proficiency for ELLs, which I think it was pretty interesting. Everybody else talks about how just reading the regular components for reading are necessary, but for English learners, oral proficiency is very important because that's where they'll build, their basis, their, that's their how do you call it? Their basis, let's just call it. And it's often overlooked in instruction. So that was a very good note that I took from that. And then she starts with the actual comprehension strategies. So she said, how can we help? And she mentioned a couple of them: teaching strategies, model strategies for each part of the reading, make strategies concrete, and integrate speaking opportunities within those strategies. And she started off with skimming, for example. And this is a practice that I feel like we've done enough. We do it, but what she was proposing is getting these questions or sentence stems for students on the board, and before they read a text, just try to skim it and try to grasp the main idea of it, the gist, by asking these questions like, why did you choose your book? Who is talking? Where are you? What's going on? What hooked you into reading further? And again, this is something I do, but what was new for me is using Post-it notes, because I'm not that very good with manipulatives, but I know I have to use it more. And this gives kinetic readers something to work with, because I'm very focused on technology, but I need to also think of the students that not only learn that way. So using posts is a good way to do it. She shared another set of sentence stems for skimming, which you can see here, and I'm gonna share in a presentation. Now I have this. I do this for my students every time they read a book, and after the reading time is over, I give them a little time just to have to fill in the book analysis. And there's a link for this. You can click on it, it makes a copy of it, and it takes you to this link, and there's just the repeated format, and they can edit it. They can write the title of the book, the subgenre, character setting, how the setting is affecting the plot, and some questions that you can always tweak and change according to your needs. This is an easy thing to share in Schoology, and that's how I've been doing it in the last couple of weeks. So in a way, after they skim the text, they can fill this in and then come back and see if what they wrote was accurate. So that's a strategy for skimming. Then they talked about get the picture. I like this one a lot because I like drawing. So what you do is you provide the students with a paper, and you fold it in 3 parts. Then you read a selection aloud, and you stop at a point. You kind of split the story in 3, and you stop at the first part and has students to draw a picture representing what is happening now. This helps them with visualizing a lot. And since we're going to share later on, they get to communicate and to practice their oracy with their classmates. Then you, of course, you label as much as you can. You put like a drawing and say, this is the train, this is the man, this is the judge. And it also will help them with their vocabulary. So you repeat steps 2 and 4 twice, and at the end you facilitate sharing the discussion, like I said. And this is a good moment for students to share with their friends, and as a student to review their pictures and labels and write a summary of the story and the back of the cards. And we actually did this in a session. That's my drawing over there. Nobody got to see it because there was just one guy there in my room, and he didn't even look at my pictures, so I'm sharing my pictures with you. And there's some comments over there like, it's a great opportunity to create conversation, summarize, and access prior knowledge. Or we talked about how we can tweak it, because some students don't like to draw, and I know some of you are having that thought right now. But what my partner said is, well, you can just provide drawings already and just have them labeled if it's the lower grade, or if students are not getting allowed because they don't have that much language and you're saying the story in English, well, just ask them to draw whatever they can, and you'll get to, it's an assessment of how their vocabulary is also, but it's in a drawing form. Rather than just writing a word, they are actually drawing it, and they're less reluctant to do it because they don't have to worry about spelling. So there's a couple of more comments there. I'm just going to move on. And then there's a summarizing strategy. Somebody wanted so then. I mean, I new teachers that it's their first year teaching may not know about this, but this is all over the place. And for it to be presented in a conference, I was like, I mean, we know. So it's pretty much summarizing, asking the main questions, is having students always remember those questions. Somebody wanted so then, and as you answer them, you create kind of a summary. Sometimes I extend this. I do this with my students, but I kind of start talking about plot, for example. And well, the somebody is the exposition, because that when you get to know the characters. One, it is also a little bit of the exposition because it's what's going around the character and what does the character need. Then the but is kind of like the conflict or the problem. So in a way, it's showing you the rising action. So will be the climax, then will be pushed like to the falling action and resolution. Again, everything that we learn every time, we can always tweak it to fit the needs of our particular students. Then we have supporting details to the main idea. This one I love because sometimes my students have a hard time grasping the concept of supporting details. And this is a very simple way to tell them this is what it is. You use picture to explain to students how supporting details work. For example, you ask, what do you know about the picture? And students will start saying, well, it's Christmas and there's gifts being given and they're happy. And then you ask something like, well, why did nobody mention the sofa? It's there. So students will say, well, sofa is not important to understand the picture for the main message. So that's where you come in and say, well, it's the same way in a written form. there's a lot of, extra stuff there that is not essential to understand your text. So I just thought it was a simple, practical way to get students, hooked with supporting details and main idea. Then here's my 2 cents, because I know that you guys have a bunch of strategies that are kind of like this, and what I would like to do is for us to share them. So here's mine. What I do is I do a vocabulary charades. So you know how? Oh, I haven't been showing. Oh yeah, I did. So this is the page, the riddles page. I'm sorry, and it has a lot of riddles. I had it here. You can just go riddles.com. But we have this for HMH. Oh, I'm just sharing one tab. You know what? Forget it. We have HMH vocabulary cards. So what I do is I share them here. I randomly pick a student, and I share the vocabulary word. But the student here is not facing the screen. It's facing the rest of the classmates. So while I'm explaining the vocabulary words in those vocabulary cards that I have, I kind of ask them, have in mind, how would you say that just with gestures without doing any sound? So the students are already, every word we go through, they are kind of thinking, oh, okay, so it's, I don't know, visualize. So they kind of go like, oh, it could be like this. So they're starting to, associate a way of a movement with the word, and it, fosters vocabulary comprehension. So I call a student, stands here and facing the rest of the students, and everybody does something like visualizing, but they cannot talk. So it's pretty much charades. And what the student does is he or she will have all of the vocabulary words here, and they'll try to guess what vocabulary word the rest of the students are saying. I don't know if I'm clear with this. Maybe I'll record a video at some point and show you how it works, but they absolutely love it, and they're looking forward for it.
So I patched the previous video because the link was wrong and the platform was not good enough. So this is the actual QR code, and in the presentation you can just click on the link, and here in the Padlet we can share ideas or share strategies that have been working for you in the classroom, like the one I show you. Here's the one I just shared. I recorded a video of it, but you can just type something or take a picture or show us where it doesn't have even to be for reading comprehension. Maybe where you put your headphones or the way you put your headphones in the classroom will help.
It could be very like a micro skill that you do every day, and for you it's just simple. But as we've seen, there's region 4 presenting things that are very simple for us, but it's very relevant for other people. So what I want to do is, let's just share a strategy that we have, guys, because I know you're doing excellent, like awesome things in your classrooms, because I've seen it in videos. So this board is just a good way to share it. All right. I hope this helped, and next time when you see a vendor in a presentation, just read the subtitles better. That would be my 2 cents. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully everybody gets to share something there, and I see you guys later. Goodbye.